What's going on today? Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you, whenever you're watching this. I hope you're having a good day, no matter what time it is. I'm Bernie Miklasz, and I tell you what it's time for. It's time for the Bernie Show, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. As I record this video, the Cardinals had won 6 of their last 8 games, and they went into Wednesday's series finale against the Pirates with a chance to improve their record of 19-19 on the season. So they're making some progress. There have been many recent positives. They continue to win at home. They have a much improved bullpen for the last couple of weeks. They're on the ongoing success of starting pitcher Matthew Liberatore is really outstanding. There's the consistently good hitting by Brendan Donovan, one of the top hitters in the National League. Very good all-around play of Victor Scott II, the red-hot bat of Wilson Contreras, and now we're seeing a power surge by Alec Burleson, which is a welcome development. So my point in mentioning those things is to just let you know I'm not going out of my way to look for negatives. But with all of the positive things that have been happening lately, there's also reason, needless to say, to be concerned with the poor offensive showings of 2 potentially very important hitters for the Cardinals. And you know who I'm talking about, Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman. Listen, yeah, I get it. These guys are still young. Walker is about to turn 23 years old. Gorman will be 25 years old in about 3 days. And the Cardinals have been patient with them, and they should be patient with them. And more than any other players on this 2025 team, the so-called runway season is mostly about Walker and Gorman. Because we saw how much talent they had. It was on display. You go back to Baseball Reference, you look at their 2023 seasons, they both were really good, especially for as young as they were. So the Cardinals were hopeful that these 2 guys would rebound in a significant way from what was truly a terrible 2024 season for both. It included a demotion to AAA Memphis for both. And it doesn't matter what I think, but just so you know where I'm coming from, I was all in favor of installing Gorman and Walker in the lineup and letting them play and sticking with them, even when they go through some cold streaks. You know, the Cardinals say they want to get clarity about what they can expect realistically from them going forward after the 2025 season. There's no decisions are going to be made on that yet. There's still a lot of ball left. But as manager Ali Marmol told us on KMOX's Gas House Gang recently in a question that I asked him about the runway, the runway's got limits. There's no assurance that the runway's still going to be in place for Gorman and Walker all season if they continue to struggle the way they have. Yes, it's early. I know it's early, but how long will we keep saying that? After all, this weekend, the Cardinals will have completed 25% of their schedule for 2025. So when you get to the 1/4 mark of the season and, you have a, good amount of games on the books, yeah, it's still relatively a small sample. But you also, by that point, you start to have a good read on what to expect from your players, whether it's good or it's bad or it's somewhere in between. And so far, I think it's fair to say the pressure is increasing for Walker and Gorman. How bad is it going for them? It's going really bad. And I'm going to offer you some of the alarming details after I take a little time to tell you about DraftKings. And I'd appreciate it if you listen to what I have to say. So, my friends, if you think you know Major League Baseball or any other sport, then take your knowledge over to DraftKings and play Pick 6. Have some fun. You take your shot at winning big cash prizes. And DraftKings Pick 6, you just focus on player stats. You choose whether the player will go higher or lower than a specific stat that's put online at DraftKings Pick 6. For example, this applies to any game. If you think Wilson Contreras will homer in a game, because DraftKings, usually sets the mark at 0.5 for home runs. So if you think he's going to hit a home run and you play the higher total, that one home run makes you a winner. It works the other way as well. If you play the lower choice under 0.5 home runs, which means no home runs, means you're a winner if you play the lower. So just make the selection and track the game. It's fun to track your players to see how they're doing in your pursuit of big cash prizes. Pick Six is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. Playing's a lot of fun. You can have a blast with this and, sample all kinds of different sports just to see what you like and see how good you are. But you get yourself on the mark, get yourself in the money. If you know baseball in particular in a baseball town, but all sports are there for you. I signed up. It's really easy to get started. You just download the DraftKings app, you open an account, you choose the sport, you pick your players, and then you go higher or lower, and it's game on. New players at DraftKings get $50 in Pick Six credits instantly, which is a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and use the code STL Sports. That's important. Use that code STL Sports because for new customers, you get to play $5 and get $50 in Pick Six credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, let's continue with my look at Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman. I put some stuff together for you. I always try to give you the numbers that matter. So what I did is I took the numbers from both of these guys so far this season through Tuesday night, and I put them together to form a composite based on their games through May the 6th. So if you could take Walker and Gorman and kind of meld them into one hitter, this is what their composite stats would look like. 195 plate appearances, 178 at bats, 187 batting average. Speaks for itself. A 232 on base percentage, and that's even with Gorman drawing good number of walks. 232 on base percentage combined between them. That's startlingly low. And maybe worst of all, very poor. Very poor combined 281 slugging percentage. They've hit 3 home runs combined, 2 by Walker, 1 by Gorman, 3 home runs between them in 171 at-bats. They have an OPS of 523 that's 100 points below the overall major league standard for OPS this season. Now, you don't need me to tell you how awful that is, but just to underline it, Gorman is 30. If you go by OPS plus, adjusted OPS, which takes into account, park effects and league trends, Gorman is 35% below league average based on his OPS plus, and Walker is even worse at 50% below league average in his OPS plus to date. For perspective, and this is not a cheap shot, but I just want to kind of frame it with some perspective that tells us all how bad this is. Consider this. During his 5 seasons with the Cardinals, the light hitting shortstop Pete Kozma had a 61 OPS plus. That was 39% below league average, which means that through May 6th, both Walker and Gorman were basically having a Pete Kozma-like season. And don't get me wrong, man, I like Pete Kozma. He helped them out a lot. There's great defense at shortstop. And you remember late in the 2012 season, Cardinals were in some trouble, danger of not making the playoffs. And he came through over the final 3 weeks. It was unbelievable the way he hit. So I like Pete Kozma, but he wasn't in the big leagues to hit. And when you have 2 guys that you've put so much of your hope and faith and belief in, Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, And basically, since the start of last season, they've hit more like Pete Kozma than two guys that you build around, right? It's not what you're looking for, and it's not what you're hoping for. It's not what you're wishing for. So, yep, we can repeat. It's a long way to go in the season. We can repeat it 100 times. But let me just offer this for all of you that might think, well, Bernie, give it some time. Okay, I mean, I'm willing to give it some time, but this isn't something new. In other words, it isn't like both of these guys had good seasons in 2024 offensively, right? And then all of a sudden, okay, for the first month and a week or whatever, okay, they're off to a slow start. But hey, they were coming off good seasons, so it's no reason to worry. Now, see, this is what we're seeing in 2025 from Gorman and Walker. What we're seeing is a continuation from what started last season. I got the numbers since the start of 2024. This incorporates all last season and what we've seen this season. You combine the stats. Walker's got a 199 batting average, and he's 37% below league average offensively in nearly 300 plate appearances. Geez, I mean, and since the beginning of 2024, in his 479 plate appearances, Gorman also has a 199 average. Both of them since start last season, both hitting 199. And Gorman, since the start of last season, is 18% below league average based on OPS plus. I think part of that is because Gorman's drawing walks at least. And last season, not this season, last season he did hit, what did he hit? 17, 18 home runs, something like that. So over the last two seasons, Gorman's got a 36% strikeout rate. It's getting a little better. I'll tell you that in a minute. So Gorman, since start of last season, Gorman's got a 36% strikeout rate, and Walker's is not quite as bad, but it's bad. It's 29%, and it's climbing. This season, as I mentioned, or I alluded to, Gorman's made progress in his effort to have better plate discipline. He really has. See what I mean? I'm looking for reasons to say, well, wait a minute. He's making some progress in this area. I'm not doing that to be some kind of like softy. I'm just trying to be fair. The overall numbers are awful. But there are at least a couple things you can look at and say, well, maybe he's figuring something out. Now, those of you will say, and I get it, I'm with you. It's like he entered the big leagues in 2022. This is now 2025. How much, what does he need to figure out? Shouldn't he know this stuff already? Fair point. I don't disagree. But so far, this strikeout rate for 2025, it's not great. It's 27%, but that's about 10% less than where he normally is. And Gorman is absolutely chasing fewer pitches out of the zone this year. He really is. He's cut way down on his chase rate. And because of that, he's got a really good, really outstanding 14% walk rate. But here's the problem. He's not here to walk, although it's good to have the plate discipline. Gorman has really poor bat speed. And because of his really poor bat speed this season, he's got a below average hard hit rate. His rate of pulling the ball is a career low, 24%. Gorman's having the highest fly ball rate of his career, which means, hey, should be hitting home runs, right? Well, number one, he's not pulling the ball very much in the air, and those fly balls aren't carrying because his bat is so slow. Let me fill you in on that. Last season's Gorman's bat speed was 73.2 miles per hour, and that put him in the top 30% of major league hitters. So last season, he struggled to make contact, but when he made contact consistently, the ball would go, right? This season, his bat speed has dropped to 70.5 miles per hour, and that puts him in the bottom 30% of big league hitters. So to recap, last year in terms of bat speed, he was in the top 30% of hitters. This year, the bat speed down, he's in the bottom 30% of hitters. That's a very concerning trait. He can turn it around, sure. But as he stands now, that is a really concerning trait. It's a huge difference from last season. And the slow bat is also the prime reason for why Gorman's average exit velocity ranks among the bottom 19% of all major league hitters so far this year. Gorman still barrels pitches at a high rate, so there's a little hope there. The plate discipline's better. There's some hope there. But look, he's got 1 home run this season. And since returning from the IL on April 12th, he's hitting 127, and his slugging percentage is 200. I don't need to add any more to that, do I? Now, I'm going to break down Walker's specific problems in a minute, but I want to talk to you gentlemen about Blue Chew. And I am happy to do this. Men, especially around my age, you have to listen to me when I tell you there's no reason to feel awkward about me talking to you about this, because I don't feel awkward about it. I'm here to try to help, right? Because I know what it's like when, you're having problems that prevent you from having a fulfilling experience with your partner. It's a increasingly common thing with men. So why should I be shy in discussing this? I'm not. The issue applies to a lot of us, including me, and so there's no reason to shy away from getting the help you need, just like you would with any other situation. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for enhanced intimacy. Blue Chew is your go-to when it's time to turn your attention away from sports and focus on your significant other. And you're going to get your first month of Blue Chew free. You're only a few clicks away from getting to your desired performance level. So sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, prepared in the USA, and prepared directly to your door, shipped directly to your door. And it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no uncomfortable conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You just order online to increase your horsepower with Blue Chew. And I tell you, trust Uncle Bernie when I just want to point out one more time, there's nothing more attractive to your partner than confidence, and Blue Chew can help you give the confidence that you want and need. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use the promo code Bernie. Just pay $5 shipping. That's the promo code Bernie. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Bernie Show. All right, one more thing about Gorman before we get to Jordan Walker. With Alec Burleson heating up, this has got some repercussions for Gorman, unless Gorman starts to heat up himself. But if Gorman stays in kind of the powerless state he's in, and I'm glad I said this as I'm talking right now, it's 8:30 in the morning on Wednesday, and the Cardinals have a ball game in about 4 hours. And hope he's in a lineup, and I hope he hits 2 bombs, right? But if he doesn't start hitting for some power, if he doesn't translate or convert that improved discipline, plate discipline to more power, if he can't find a way to quicken up that bat speed and the power just doesn't come, well, the days of giving Gorman the bulk of the at-bats against right-handed pitching is going to go down. I mean, if Burleson keeps doing what he's been doing in recent days, he will absolutely become more of a priority when Ali Marmol goes to look at, well, okay, right-handed pitcher on the mound, starting for the other team. So which left-handed bats do I want to get in there? I think Burleson already has moved ahead of Gorman. And if Burleson keeps going, there's no reason to change it. I mean, if Burleson keeps doing what he's doing, then, Gorman's going to have to answer that. He's going to have to answer that with a power show of himself for his own self, right? So, all right, here's one difference between, Walker and Gorman. Unlike Gorman, and this makes it frustrating because Walker does have elite bat speed, really impressive bat speed. How good is his bat speed? It's in the top 1% of major league hitters. Think about that. I mean, there's only a few guys in the big leagues that have a faster bat, a faster swing than Jordan Walker. But it doesn't matter all that much because he swings and misses at way too many pitches. He hacks at way too many pitches thrown out of the strike zone. These pitchers know what's up. They know you can throw it off the plate and you'll get him to chase. And that's backed up by the fact that Jordan Walker in 2025 so far has got a career worst 36% chase rate. And that's just trouble, 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 because the bat speed doesn't matter if you're not making contact and if you're not getting the pitches and you're not saving those quick, fast swings for pitches in the strike zone. Walker continues, unfortunately, and I wish that it was different, but he continues to be his own worst enemy. His swing and miss rate so far is the worst of his career this season. His current strikeout rate is the worst of his career so far this season. His overall batting run value is in the bottom 10% of major league hitters. Again, I don't know what to say. After putting up, well, he's not doing good. That's all I got to say. But after putting up great numbers in his first 7 games this season, Walker's has hit 146 with a 195 on base percentage and a 207 slug for a 403 OPS. It's 23 games, and the stretch includes, and this is really bad too. The stretch includes the last 23 games he's played in. 122 batting average against right-handed pitching. Believe it or not, his performance against right-handed pitching. Now listen to this. His performance against right-handed pitching since April 6th is 94% below league average. 94% below league average. Yeah, that's what I said. I won't say it again. Now, I've been asked a bunch of times about how long the Cardinals will stay the course with Walker and stay the course with Gorman. It's a great question. It is a totally pertinent and logical and legitimate question. I don't have the answer because I'm not the manager and I'm certainly not the president of baseball operations. The Cardinals, as Ali Marmol told me when I asked him about this on KMOX, the Cardinals don't have any kind of official timetable. He said, well, hey, we're nowhere near that point, talking about the runway going away for them. We're nowhere near that point. We're working with them. So let me read Ali Marmol's answer, in the complete answer, when I asked him about, all right, is the runway for Gorman and Walker, is it going to be there all season? Does there come a point in time, et cetera, et cetera? And this is what Ali Marmol said. And these are direct quotes. Quote, when you get to the point where you feel like you're losing the player mentally, meaning like he's defeated and no longer has the answer, or he's tired of the scrutiny of the big league level, because that's what comes with the big leagues. When you're at the big league level, someone is writing about you every night. Someone's sitting on a radio show for hours on end talking about your failures. Marmol continued, quote, and it just wears on a young player when you feel like, man, it's taking its toll and they're starting to feel defeated. Then at that point, you make sure you don't lose the player and you put them in an environment where they can go ahead and work on some things at the AAA level where the scrutiny isn't nearly as high. So there you go. I mean, this was a couple weeks ago, and it's actually gotten worse since then. But Ali Marmol, made it clear, yeah, there's no unlimited runway for these guys. And it's interesting because, I've seen some, some of the mainstream media, they're finally starting to dig into this themselves. We were doing it at KMOX 2 weeks ago, but anyway, that was he didn't frame it as kind of a warning, right? He wants those guys to succeed, but he, when I asked him the question point blank, he basically said, "Look, yeah, this applies, man. There comes a time where you gotta." You got to let them recover and, let them recover away from the big leagues. So obviously that thing already was on Ali Marmol's mind. John Mozeliak makes roster decisions, but I think that those two would be in agreement if there is going to come a time to, as I like to say, kind of stop the fight, right? I pull for Gorman and Walker, and I want to see him thrive. The idea of sending them, one of them, both of them to Memphis, it's troubling. It's kind of a bummer. See, I'm not a hater. I don't root against them. I believe it's good to be patient. I believe it's good to just let them try to work out this early season run. But, you know, they could be running out of runway. It's not going to last forever. I know that. I accept that. And as time goes on, the more that they wallow and the more that they fail, the more that I'll be talking about, listen, man, time for an intervention. I hate to say it, but it's probably time. But I agree. I don't think, this kind of thing is imminent. Some of you will say it should be, and I get it. I'm trying to be patient because I also understand what the runway season is all about for at least some guys, but particularly Gorman and Walker. You got to take advantage of the runway that's there. And I hope they can get going, but I'm not as confident as I was at the start of the season. And so I wish them well, because they could make the Cardinals. If both of these guys can hit the way they're capable of hitting, my goodness, what an impact that would have on a Cardinals offense that actually, even with them doing so poorly, is in the top 10 or 11 of all teams in Major League Baseball. And, oh, by the way, that's supported by facts, okay? They've got about a top 10, top 11 offense. Imagine if these two guys can start cranking, right? God, that offense is pretty good, but it would look a lot better. All right, that's all for me, from me for today. And remember, you can read all my columns and watch my videos and access the podcast version of the videos at sportshubstl.com. I want to thank you all for watching. As you do, never take that for granted. Tip of the cap to you. Also, thanks to DraftKings for presenting the Bernie Show on sportshubstl.com. Have a great day.